Hi everybody, thank you for joining me on another episode of the Backstreet Lounge. If you are watching and not just listening, you might notice that things are a little different. Again, sometimes you just have to film when the material comes to you, and my office has been unavailable, and so today I'm filming in front of my daughter's giant birthday banner, which is actually really pretty. But I've also thrown up some pictures of Nick because today's episode is all about Nick and his newest music video for Searchlight. In my previous season, I did a full series on Nick's comic book series that coincided with singles that were released from his latest album, Love Life Tragedy. Now he's released a more traditional music video for one of those songs, Searchlight. So I would just like to take a few minutes and walk through the music video and talk about my thoughts on it. What I liked, what I loved, what I didn't really care for, and why this video continues to prove the genius that is Nick Carter. And I definitely have to give serious credit to the video's director, Joseph Rubinstein. I hope I pronounced that right. The work he did on this video was absolutely beautiful. First, as soon as the video starts playing, the first thing we notice is the dramatic widescreen. This is important because it naturally gives a wider visual field, which makes the experience richer and fuller. So right away, this music video feels different. This, along with the gentle strumming of the guitar, with the imagery of the crashing waves against the light of the moon and the lighthouse, sets a strong but sensitive tone for what's to come. It invites you in, but you know you're being set up for an emotional ride. Cut to Nick in black and white against an emptiness with only faint mist floating in the background and what feels like a single source of light set softly to the side. He's wearing a white t-shirt, which is appropriate for the black and white scene, but it's also noticeably tattered. And in real life, this could easily be an intentional style choice for a high-end t-shirt brand. But here in the video, it helps to subtly frame his emotional state visually. He's worn and rough, and he's been through a lot. And all this is just the first 20 seconds. Then we're introduced to the love interest. Only a glimpse at first, and through what looks like some kind of antique window, adding more awareness to the lyrics that their love fell away, and so he might be reflecting on this past memory of love. This is also the first time that we see the rain, and to me that feels significant because it makes it feel like him looking back at those memories is making those emotions well up inside of him. And I love that Nick, in his absolute unfailing artistry, is so connected to his words. Yes, he's performing, but he also does an amazing job of conveying that he's feeling the words in the moment. And that's a big difference between him and a lot of other artists. Not to take away anything from other artists, but this is something that's very striking to me and worth recognizing and honoring because he has always done that very well. That said, his body language really sells the emotional connection in this video. While standing in the dark, he sings the simple words, "Now you say you want to come back, and I want to try so bad," all while seeming to turn his face away from the encroaching light, away from the memory of that hurt. And while he says essentially that he has nothing left to give, the fog and the mist seem to envelop him. At approximately 57 seconds in, he really starts building the momentum of the first chorus, and the rain finally starts falling on him. I assume representing the tears he's already shed and the emotional storm that they've been through together that has created this emotional turmoil within him. As he cries out over and over, "Send out a searchlight," he seems disoriented and desperate. The lighthouse is shining and the storm is playing out behind him, but he can't bring himself to embrace that light. And by the end of the first chorus, he actually appears to be in pain, holding his head as the rain just beats down on him. Then there's a dramatic shift from the pain of that inner storm to a scene with warmer tones, a scene of her. Possibly he's remembering her and thinking of her. It's slightly in and out of focus and seeming to be thinking of her in beautiful pieces and calm moments, almost like snapshots of memories. The way you think back about someone fondly with rose-colored glasses. He sings, "You're the air I want to breathe. You're my everything, I believe." But then, quite literally here, the winds change, showing her in darker tones now, as the wind sweeps against her. And just like that, he's swept up in his thoughts, singing, "Said I won't go back again, the touch of your skin, a kiss and you're pulling me in." His voice here flows with the rhythm of a rising tide, like an ocean just welling up inside him. Outside, the rain pours down, mirroring the storm going on inside. I really love when elemental imagery like this is used to capture that push and pull of the chaos and surrender and longing that defines this sort of heartache. The next scene, we see her dancing in some sort of nightclub or party. This is the scene I didn't really care for. Don't get me wrong, visually it's beautiful. There's nothing particularly distinct about the background other than the flashing lights and people dancing around her. This scene also kind of evokes the feeling of seeing a memory, the way nothing is especially clear, but you instantly understand what's going on. But what bothered me about this scene was how out of place it felt in comparison to the other scenes in the video. The other settings are more elusive and more artistically distinct. So this just felt a little jarring and took me out of the moment for just a split second to go so suddenly from this vague, dreamy world to a nightclub. And you can absolutely argue that it was intentional because it obviously was, but I feel like it could have been done similarly without changing the theme so much. But this is such a small detail that it's hardly worth mentioning. So, moving along. One strong reason the juxtaposition did work is because we go from seeing her dancing and carefree to very suddenly and dramatically crying. A close-up of her face with tears streaming down. Now they are both in their own dark and muted spaces with the rain and tears falling. Feeling lost and adrift, trying to navigate the emotional storm of their relationship. And it's here, at approximately 2 minutes and 6 seconds into the video, well over halfway, that Nick finally looks the camera in the eye for the first time. And while this only happens a few more times in the video, it feels important because he's making a connection, not with her, but with us. He's letting us in just a little bit more to connect and feel what he's going through. As the song moves towards its ending and Nick sings over and over, "Send out a searchlight," we see her wandering in the darkness, sad and lost, while Nick sings towards the light, begging for the ability to love again. It's such a poignant moment at the end of this video to see her still lost and searching all around for him, but he's still not able to shine that light to guide her back to him. And of course, the flow of the chorus, along with the rain and wind and waves, gives so much momentum to the scene. When I listen here, I really experience it. I can almost feel a pulling from my chest to match the urgency and desperation of his cries. Then a flash of light and an abrupt ending to the music. All we hear is the sound of the rain, and all we see is Nick's face, drenched. His breath is labored and he's nearly motionless now. A dramatic contrast to the rushing flow of sound that was happening just a moment earlier. His eyes are fixed on the camera, and the silence feels heavy, as if he's trying to say something that I haven't quite made sense of yet. Is he looking at us, the audience, with a sense of resolve? And is the quiet signaling that the storm has passed? Or is he looking at her and surrendering to the pull and the want to have her back? The ambiguous ending is beautifully done. It isn't necessary to know where his head is at the end, because being able to fill in your own experiences is what helps the music resonate. If the song moved you, then the ending will captivate you for your own reasons. Director Joseph Rubinstein created a real work of art with this music video, and it is no surprise considering his amazing collection of work, which you can see some of at josephrubinstein.com. I haven't seen any interviews yet to know exactly how much Nick was involved with the vision for this music video, but I do know that it wouldn't have worked so well without collaborative effort on both parts. When I first saw that Nick was going to be filming a new music video for this song, I was so curious about what it could possibly look like. It's obviously very different visually from the comic book video, which is still about a breakup and a reconnection of a couple, except in that video, the couple is a superhero and a waitress who's being tormented by an evil villain. This version, though, delivers all of the emotion that comes with that level of heartache, but leaves just enough open so that viewers can fill it in with their own story. After I was done gathering all my thoughts on this music video, putting it on paper, feeling good about it, I set it aside and went about my day, and I saw something that stuck with me that I needed to share for the video. I went and I watched Star Trek's Strange New Worlds Season 3, Episode 2, Wedding Bell Blues. If you haven't seen that yet and you want to and you do not want spoilers of any kind, please fast forward or just stop because I'm almost done. But Spock is one of my favorite people, one of my favorite characters, just ever, for many different reasons. But he said something in this episode that really stuck with me that I wanted to share. In the scene, Spock is addressing Nurse Chapel, and he's expressing not only his love for her, but explaining how he believes she deserves to be loved and what kind of person that should be. He says, "And that person worthy of your love, they cannot be drowning. They cannot be unsure and at the mercy of their emotional storms. They must be a safe harbor. They must have the ability to hold space for you." So this obviously made me think of Nick and this song. It was such a similar sentiment. The idea of somebody who loves someone so much, but they don't have the capacity to be able to be what they need. It was like a whole other layer of the song opened up for me. And all just because I love Star Trek and the Backstreet Boys. But obviously, this song can mean 100 different things to 100 different people. And that's why this song is just so brilliantly constructed. His vulnerability is raw and real in this video, but it's also a gift for anyone who's ever been through something similar. Music is healing. It transcends what's spoken and speaks through feelings and not logic, which is why that speech from Spock was so timely. In this song, Searchlight, Nick is letting us into his storm while reminding us that we are not alone in ours. If you've stuck it out to the end with me, thank you so much for listening. This wasn't a review of the music video so much as it was, I just really love to pick apart music videos that I find beautiful and interesting. And this was definitely one of those videos. It's just so fun to get into it. I was explaining to someone the other day how much I enjoy doing these kind of music video descriptions. I think of music videos as obviously as an art form, but if you imagine you're going to an art gallery and you see all the paintings on the wall and you look at them and you think about them and you analyze them and you think about how it makes you feel, because it's going to be different for everyone, but you can also consider what the artist was going through and what they intended, but how it can be interpreted. It's the same idea with music videos. The paintings on the wall in the art gallery are the music videos. And I love getting in the head of the artist and figuring out what their process was. I also really like hearing from other people and what they think about these videos. So if anyone else has any comments or ideas, or if they want to share how this music video made them feel, or if they just think it's beautiful and want to talk about the scenery, please comment. I would love to have conversations about these. So like, subscribe, comment, share. Let's keep the conversations open. Nick, thank you so much for everything that you've been working on. Thank you for the album, Love Life Tragedy. Thank you for the songs, for the singles, for the comic book. Thank you for this video in particular, for Searchlight. It's beautiful. Your instincts for these projects are very strong, and I've been just impressed with everything that you've been putting out lately. So thank you and good job. Please keep it up. I will also say I think that you do not get nearly as much credit as you deserve for the level of artist that you are, with the kind of creativity that you deliver for your fans, for your vulnerability, and for your versatility, and the longevity of your career, I think speaks volumes. And you know this. Everybody knows this. But thank you for everything that you're doing. And please don't ever stop, because you're doing amazing. Thank you for this music video. Thank you for everybody who is listening and watching. And I can't wait to see what comes next. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Backstreet Lounge, and I will see you guys later. Thanks. Bye.